All right, everybody. Welcome to another day of Read Rich and Righteous, Spiritual Secrets and Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. We are continuing our journey. We are about to conclude week 3 as we've been going through the book. Today, we are on page 61, which is your personal internal rate of return. Your personal internal rate of return. This is probably, uh-oh, Instagram already crashed. Crazy, crazy. All right. Hey guys, what's up? Let me see. Instagram already crashed, y'all. I don't know what's going on. IG. Sorry about that, YouTube. YouTube is definitely better for us here. All right. We are starting over on there. We're going to figure this out one day. We're going to figure this thing out one day. But YouTube is where it's at. So thank you, everybody who's come over to YouTube. All right, cool. So with that, we are on page 61. We're reading your personal internal rate of return. In chat, please let me know. Is this your first time joining us? How many times have you been with us? In chat, let me know. In chat, let me know how many times have you been with us. Yes, if you're on IG, please come over to YouTube. All right, so we got people who've been with us for 2 weeks. This is 3 days for some people. 2 weeks, 7 days. Good. So, man, the consistency, I love it. That's part of the key is consistency. So, I'm happy to see that. So, if you're joining us for the first time, any first timers? Type 1 if you're a first timer. What's going on, Vanita? What's going on, Kima? What's going on, Fabulously Made? Where my first timers at? One time. Denise, what's going on? Okay, cool. So, so real quick, just for the first timers, we are reading Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. This is a book that I wrote at the beginning of COVID because I knew that the world was going to slip into scarcity mindset, and I had already navigated that when I quit my job January 9th, 2009, at the bottom of the last recession. And so now we know that the collective consciousness is continuing to use consistently this word of recession. And so Spirit moved me about 3 weeks ago and said, Jullien, just go read your book out loud to the people, and make sure that people have access to this information and to this knowledge. And so here we are 3 weeks later, and the community keeps growing. The YouTube group keeps growing. The Instagram group keeps going, and it's been a beautiful thing. We are here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every weekday. So go ahead and set a phone alarm so that you can make sure that you're here. For those of you who have not got the book yet, you can go to moneyandmanifestation.com. That's moneyandmanifestation.com. You do not need to have the book to be here. Okay. This space is 100% free. You do not need to have the book to be here. But as you know, there are nuggets in the book that don't get translated just verbally. And having the physical book, this is like a financial Bible. All right. This is a combination of the Bible, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, As a Man Thinketh, and Think and Grow Rich, all in one book. And so it's been a blessing. This is what came out after 6 months of writing at the beginning of COVID. And I'm so grateful that this book was downloaded to me and through me. And so here I am reading it to you all. This journey is likely going to take us through probably through March. Because we have over 300 pages left. If we're reading about 3 pages a day, 3 to 4 pages a day, that's 100 weekdays, 20 days, weekdays a month. So December, January, February, March. Yeah. So we're going to be on this journey together through March. I will not miss a day unless I'm traveling or some other commitment has come up. So you can be rest assured that I'm here at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the people. Okay. This is my book, Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets, Mastering Money, Manifestation in Your Mind. I pinned that at the top of the Instagram. For those of you who are on YouTube, you can get the book at moneyandmanifestation.com. If the first link doesn't work, you can go to that page and use the PayPal links. PayPal links also work. So if you get an error when you try to use your regular debit card, or then you can use PayPal. Okay, y'all ready? Cool. Who has the book? Remember, we do print on demand, so it takes about 10 days to get to you. We don't hold inventory, so it's print on demand, so it takes some time. Oh, somebody said I didn't pin it. Let me pin it for you. Do pin. Okay, I've pinned it. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Thank you, everybody who got it. When you buy the book, you get 5 copies, y'all. The book is $100. I'm gonna let you know that straight out the gates. It's $100. But when you buy the book, you get 5 copies. 1 is for you, 4 is for you to give to other people. In order to stimulate your personal economy, you have to get into a state of giving. When you're in a state of giving, it means that you have. And when you're in a state of having, you know that you're in abundance. And so, how we stimulate your personal economy is by immediately putting you in a state of giving. So, the act of you even buying this book is an act of abundance, right? And changes and elevates your frequency. And like I said before, you have to ask yourself, what's more valuable to you? This $100, which is a fish, or actually learning how to fish? Would you rather have, right, the material or the ability to materialize? And so that's what we've been focused on, is focusing on the divine power that is within us to be able to materialize all that we want. And when we're talking about abundance, we're not just talking about money. Okay. In fact, money is the lowest yielding asset in the entire world. I'm going to repeat that again. Did you know that money is the lowest yielding asset in the entire world? So our job is, one, first and foremost, we work for money to get it, right? But we don't want to stay in that state forever. And most people stay in that state forever. So you work for money, but then your second job, right, as you become a manifester, is for you to make money work for you. This is just stored energy. Money is stored energy. It is an inert spiritual substance that we can use to do more good and more God here on earth, right? Our job is to bring heaven on earth, and this is one of the tools that we have to do that. So we've already addressed that money is not the root of all evil, okay? We've addressed that money is just an inert spiritual substance that we get to use to do more good and more God. and I ask this question to you all the time. How many of you would do more good if you had more money? How many of you would do more good if you had more money? How many of you would do more good if you had more money? Right? Everybody here would do more good. You'd be able to be a greater blessing to more people if you had more money. So my job here with this work is to make sure that you have more money. Because right now, people who are unrighteous and selfish and only in it for themselves, they have more money than we do. And the reason why is because they don't have hangups around money. They don't have these spiritual or religious hangups around money. We've been taught that money is the root of all evil, or money is evil, and therefore we think poverty is good. It is a deep rooted subconscious belief that we were programmed to believe due to religious programming. And so we're here to break free from that. All right. And so today we're talking about the core metric for you being able to assess your wealth. And that core metric is your personal internal rate of return. We are on page 61. So we're going to begin reading right now. Okay. Then God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply." Genesis 1:28. In the parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14-30, the first servant was given 5 talents and multiplied it into 10. The second servant was given 2 talents and multiplied it into 4. And to both of them, the master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant." The third servant was given 1 talent, buried it, and then returned the 1 talent back to his master. The master replied, "You wicked and slothful," which means lazy, servant. "You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers at my coming. I should have received what was mine own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has, to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness." Woo! Flames right there. So many financial lessons in just this parable alone. This parable shows that saving money in a bank is the worst thing you can do next to burying it or putting it under a mattress. Yes, saving money is the worst thing that you can do. Okay. Why? Because you know that in your Bank of America savings account, you're only yielding 0.03% interest. Okay. Using the rule of 72, 72 divided by 0.03 means that it'll take you 2,400 years to double your money in a bank account. You heard me correctly. At 0.03% interest, it will take you 2,400 years to double your money in a Bank of America savings account. Saving money is the lowest thing that you can do with money next to putting it under a mattress. Okay. This parable shows that saving money in a bank is the worst thing you can do next to burying it or putting it under a mattress. When you bury something, when you bury a human being, why do you bury them, family? When you bury a human being, why are you burying them? Because they are what? Because they are what? Because they are dead. When you bury something, it is dead. When you bury something, it is dead, family. So when you bury money, it is dead. And that is what you do when you save money just for the sake of saving. This is why money is called dead presidents. This is why money is called dead presidents. As Genesis 1:28 says, be fruitful and multiply. The faithful servants both multiplied their money by doubling what they were given. One was given 5, multiplied it to 10. One was given 2, multiplied it to 4. The master did not compare their result based on quantity, for he knew that he gave more to one than the other to begin with. Instead, he honored them both based on their personal internal rates of return, which were identical at 100%. They both yielded 100% return. They both doubled their money, or the master's money. Okay, they both doubled the master's money. And you know, this money that I have in my possession, I don't consider this my money. None of the money in any of my bank accounts do I consider it my money. This is not my money. My name is not on it. This is stored energy given to me by God to bring heaven on earth. This is stored energy given to me by God to bring heaven on earth. This is not my money. Oh, look at my money. Look at my bank account. No, it's not mine. It does not belong to me. I cannot take it when I leave here. So I don't just amass stored energy and have all this potential in a bank account. I transmute it and use it and pour it into and invest it into ideals, ideas, individuals, investments, and institutions I believe are doing good or God's work. That is my responsibility as a steward. Okay. And I'm trying to double it as quickly as possible. So again, the rule of 72 is 72 divided by your rate of return, right? Will give you how many years it will take you to double your money. Okay. So saving money in a bank account is one of the worst things that you can do. Formal education didn't teach us much, but one thing I did learn was keep your eyes on your own paper. If the servant who only received 1 talent had returned with 2, the master would have said, well done, good and faithful servant. This is why we can never compare our material wealth to anyone else's. We are all created equal, but we are all created equal, but we aren't all given equal. This is really important for you to understand. We are all created equal in the Creator's eyes, but we are not all given equally. Only God knows why. I told you, you know, I believe that the Black experience here in this earthly realm is because we are actually black belts. And so to be a black belt, you had to say to God, the creator, hey, before you send me down there as a spirit, before you send me down there, take away everything from me. Take away my language, take away my land, take away my family, take away my body, take away my spiritual system, take all that away from me and watch me still win. And so rather than looking at the your financial situation that you were born into or the ones you have right now as a deficit, right, as a problem, how about you look at it as an opportunity and a challenge to demonstrate how much of a God you really are, how rich you really are. That's a completely different mind flip. And that's really the only way that I can make sense of the transatlantic slave trade and why Black people on this planet would have gone through that kind of experience. It's because we are on the highest level. Now, that doesn't diminish the challenges that other people may be having, okay? But I know for me as a person of African descent, an African in America, right? Right? That this is my journey. And rather than complain, right? And always talk about the white man this, I used to be, oh yeah, the white man, the white man, the white man. No, ain't no white man got no power over me, family. But one has power over me, and that is God, capital G. But as this offspring, as I step into my power and my awareness of who I am, don't nobody got no power over me. No other human being has power over me. So I stopped blaming things outside of myself and started looking within and tapping into my true power as a child of God. So as you know, financial literacy will teach you how to do something. This is financial spirituality. I'm trying to remind you of who you are. Financial literacy is about the transfer of information. Financial spirituality is about reminding you of your identity, not just more information. Because if I pour more information onto a poverty consciousness, it will not take root. If we continue to pour all this financial literacy information into a poverty consciousness, into a cup that says poverty consciousness on it, it will not take root. So we have to change our identity first and remember that we are children of God, right? And that we are here to demonstrate that. We are here to demonstrate that despite the circumstances that we have experienced, especially people who have dealt with oppression at high levels. But again, every person that comes to this planet has their own challenge, okay? It's like a video game. You get to pick your own level of challenge. You're going to pick the hard level, you're going to pick the medium level, you're going to pick the easy level. You get to choose. And I know based on my people's experience of this planet, this earthly realm, we chose the hardest level. Okay? So, moving forward. Internal rate of return is also known as IRR. This is a financial term. Is a financial metric that measures the financial growth of a cash flow producing asset based on an initial investment over time. When Tupac said, listen to this, when Tupac said, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents, that is a 566% rate of return on a 15-cent investment. What's up, D Smoke? What's up, D Smoke? When Tupac said, listen, this is math, right? Tupac said, I'm trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. Okay. So he put in 15 cents and he made $1. 100 divided by 15 is a 566% rate of return on a 15-cent investment. Okay. But IRR can also be applied to your personal financial growth rate. I call your personal version of IRR your personal internal rate of return. Okay. It measures the average annual growth rate of your money over a time period. Your personal internal rate of return is how fast and frequently money returns to you. This is your metric of true wealth. This is where your financial security comes from, in your personal internal rate of return. Okay. We said there's all kinds of ways to measure wealth. How much you have saved, how much your net worth is, right? How much your monthly cash flow is. There's all kinds of ways to measure your true wealth. But I believe that personal internal rate of return is the key. So your personal rate of return, I'm going to repeat it, is how fast and frequently money returns to you. It is a function of your financial frequency and your financial literacy. It's a combination of both. Your financial frequency is your feeling about money on a scale of abundance to scarcity. Okay? Your financial frequency is your feeling about money on a scale of abundance to scarcity. Okay? It's how you feel about money. Some people think money is bad and evil, so their financial frequency is low. Other people think that money is good and that it's an abundant, okay? And therefore their financial frequency is high. Your financial literacy is your thinking about money, okay? So there's your frequency in terms of how you feel about money. The feeling gets the blessing. We'll talk about that later on. And then your financial literacy is your thinking about money on a scale of wealth consciousness to poverty consciousness. So your personal internal rate of return is your financial frequency, your feeling about money, plus your financial literacy, which is your thinking about money, and that equals your personal internal rate of return, okay? This is the metric that we need to be focused on. Now, I'm going to give you a real-world example right now. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, and now Twitter, okay, has a personal internal rate of return of 44.44% between 2002 and 2021. Y'all know that 444, Jay-Z's album, right? You know that 444 is a sacred number sequence. And so when I actually did the numbers on Elon Musk's net worth, look at this, y'all. Look what it came out to be. 44.44% is his personal internal rate of return. I didn't make this up. This was from his 180 million PayPal payout, okay, to what he was worth at the end of 2021. Okay, or at the end of 2020. Okay, it came out to be 44.44%. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Okay, so he is operating at one of the highest levels of wealth consciousness ever, based on the personal internal rate of return. And as a result, on January 6th of 2021, he became the world's richest man, surpassing Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon. In 2002, Elon cashed out of PayPal when it was bought by eBay and pocketed $180 million. So this chart, okay, is his 180 million at the beginning of 2002 when he cashed out of PayPal, and it grew to a net worth of 194 a big number. I think 194 billion. Okay, so that is personal internal rate of return of 44.44%. That means that his money is growing, his wealth is growing at a rate of 44.44%. In an interview, he said, listen to this, y'all. In an interview, he said, my proceeds from PayPal, the PayPal acquisition, were 180 million. I put 10 million into SpaceX, 70 million into Tesla, and 10 million into Solar City. I had to borrow money for rent. How many of y'all willing to play at that level? He believed in his dreams and visions so much that he put all of his proceeds from PayPal cash out, so much so that he had no cash and had to borrow money for rent. You wonder why he's one of the wealthiest people in the world. Look how he thinks about money. You can tell how somebody thinks about money, right? By how they use it. He dumped it all into his 3 dreams. All of it. No emergency fund. Okay? Poor people say, I'm too broke to invest. Wealthy people say, I invest until I'm broke. Poor people say, I'm too broke to invest. Wealthy people say, I invest until I'm broke. I'm doing really well financially. And guess what? You can't borrow no money from me. Yeah, what did Nipsey Hussle say? All money in, right? All money in. All these people we look up to, we see how they related to money and how they use it, but then we don't mimic that. We want to mimic their clothes. We want to mimic their cars. We want to mimic their lifestyles, but we don't want to mimic the way that they actually think about money. All money in. I'm going to repeat that again. Poor people say, I'm too broke to invest. Wealthy people say, I invest until I'm broke. We're on page 64 now. Proverbs 11:28. And for those of you on Instagram, if Instagram crashes, please come over to YouTube. Just type in my name on YouTube and come over to YouTube if Instagram crashes. Okay. We're on page 64. We have just 3 more pages. Page 64. Proverbs 11:28 adds, one person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. You're not broke. However, your financial system may be broken. So never say that I'm broke, family, because we know the power of I am. We talked about that already. We know the power of I am. Okay? Never say I'm broke. But what may be broken is your financial system. Okay? You are perfect, whole, and complete as God created you. Obviously, Musk has wealth consciousness and an abundance mindset. Most people think it is his money that allows him to think and move like this, when in fact, it is the opposite. How he thought and moved allowed him to create the wealth that he has today. Oh, people say, oh, he's rich, so he can move like that. No, that's not why. It is his thinking about money that allows him to move that way. It's not because he was rich. It was his thinking that got him to be rich. Think and grow rich. Napoleon Hill laid it out for us. But you want to try to get rich and then change your thinking after. No, your wealth will only magnify who you already are. Your wealth will only magnify who you already are. You will not change. It will not. People say it changes you. No, it doesn't change you. It only magnifies who you already are. This is why some of you are being bad stewards of $100,000, yet you want $1 million, and you wonder why God won't give you the $1 million because you've been a bad steward of 100,000. So you think, oh, if I have 10 times more money, I'm gonna be 10 times more wealthy. No, you're gonna have 10 times more waste. You have a salary, or your business is making $100,000 a year, but you still in the negative and you still in credit card debt. You haven't been a good steward of 100,000. So why would I make you a steward over $1 million? You understand that? This goes back to the parable of the talents that we just started off the chapter with. Why would I give you more if you've been a bad steward of less? Show me that you are a good steward of what you've already been given, and then I'll give you more. Okay? Most people think it is his money that allows him to think and move like this, when in fact it is the opposite. How he thought and moved allowed him to create the wealth he has today. By January of 2021, he grew the $180 million to $194 billion, which is more than 1,000 times greater in just 20 years. You hear that? 20 years. This was a 20-year period from cashing out of PayPal to what he's been able to build with Tesla, Solar, and SpaceX. 20 years. But see, a lot of y'all are out here looking for the next quick hustle. I'm looking for this side hustle. Oh, Airbnb is popping. Oh, Turo is popping. You looking for these short-term gains and wins, and go get your bread. Okay? But where's your long-term vision that you're actually fueling? You looking for quick flips and fixes. That thing was popping for a year, then I had to switch up, and then that thing was popping for 2 years, and then I had to switch up, and then that thing was popping. Where and when are you going to start playing the long-term game? Because the long-term game is how wealth is actually created. The long-term game is how wealth is actually created. A lot of y'all, looking for these short-term hustles. This is no get-rich-quick scheme. This is no get-rich-quick scheme. If you would have played the long-term game a long time ago, you'd have a lot more money today. If you would have played the long-term game a long time ago, you'd have a lot more money today, family. All right? He turned $180 million into $194 billion in 20 years. Okay? So does Elon Musk have $194 billion in cash in his personal bank account? What's the answer, family? Does Elon Musk have $194 billion in cash in his personal bank account? Yes or no? Yes or no? The answer is no. He does not. A majority of Musk's net worth is in use. It is in use, still circulating in his companies as equity, not in a bank account as cash, just sitting there doing nothing. So a lot of y'all are looking to invest in assets. You want to find a good stock, right? You want to find even a piece of real estate. I love real estate. But guess where the greatest asset is? It's in you and your own dreams. Investing in yourself is the greatest rate of return that you can get. But you are looking for these assets outside of yourself. What I do is I invest in myself through coaching, through courses, through conferences, and then anything that I have in excess, then I put that into other assets that are outside of me. But the first and primary investment is in myself. I've spent more money on my education after college than I did going to college. Some of you are still in student debt and you have a negative relationship to education because you got burned by liberal arts education. Liberal arts education will cost you. What I'm teaching you is liberation arts education. Liberation arts education will free you. But because you got burned by liberal arts education, you stopped investing in education in totality. Oh, I ain't going back to school. I ain't learning nothing else. This thing better carry me through the end of my career. No, this is actually when you need to double down on your investment. And no, there are no student loans from the government. You have to take from the income that you're earning as an entrepreneur or your job, and you have to invest it in yourself. That's the only way you're going to ever escape your job, is by investing in yourself. That's the only way you're going to escape. You are the greatest rate of return. You invest in yourself first. And then once you have excess, Then you find asset classes to put the excess into. People doing it backwards. You looking for some lottery ticket. A lot of y'all here looking for lottery tickets. I hope this crypto hit. I hope this NFT hit. I hope this piece of real estate hit. I hope this stock hit. You looking for a lottery ticket. You are the lottery ticket. Out of how many sperm did it take for you to be here? You are the lottery ticket, family. All bets on you. All money in. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you go find things outside of yourself to believe in. If you don't believe in yourself, then you go find other things outside of yourself to believe in. And then that's where you give your money to. A majority of Elon Musk's net worth is in use, still circulating in his companies as equity, not in a bank account as cash just sitting there doing nothing. While your net worth does include cash, you want your net worth to include assets that are working for you, like your own companies, stocks, and real estate. I'm not sure he would ever want $194 billion in cash because he wouldn't know how to deploy that money any better than he is already doing through his own companies. Any net worth beyond the cash in your bank account should be circulating towards ideals, ideas, individuals, institutions, and investments you believe are doing good or God's work. To become wealthy, you must have a vision of what you want to create as a child of the Creator. Okay, children are not the only thing we are meant to create while we are here on earth. Okay, I want to make that clear. Children are not the only things we are meant to create while we are here on earth, family. You know you had a purpose before you became a parent? You had a purpose before you became a parent. But what some people do is they have children and they put all their energy into their child, and that's a beautiful thing. But guess what? You still have a purpose. We then make our children our purpose instead of walking in our purpose. So now, when your children grow up, right? When your children grow up, then what are they going to do? They're going to keep kicking the can. They're going to then make their children their purpose. But you had a purpose before you were a parent, family. You had a purpose before you had a partner. You had a life purpose before you had a partner. Now, your partner should enhance your purpose. Your children should inspire you to walk even more in your purpose. So then you can say to your children, do as I did, not that whole quote of do as I say, not as I do. Because how are you going to want your kids to walk in their purpose, but you not walking in yours? How are you going to want your children to walk in their purpose, but you not walking in yours? You think you're sacrificing and you think it's noble, but the most inspiring thing you can do for your children is to walk in your God-given purpose, because that will inspire them to walk in theirs. Jada already know. She's thinking about what she want to do with this life because she sees her father walking in his purpose. Her father didn't settle. Her father had courage and relied on the Most High to guide him every single day. Wakes up and sees me meditating. When she wakes up, knows that I go to God first every single day. Then I come to serve the world. So to become wealthy, we're on page 64. To become wealthy, you must have a vision for what you want to create as a child of the Creator. Children are not the only things we are meant to create while we are here on earth. In fact, I'm going to give it to you right now. I was going to wait. You realize that children are the easiest thing to create? Children are the easiest thing to create, family. There are 4 ways to leave your legacy. The first one and the lowest one is baby bodies. Some of y'all could get impregnated tonight. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. And all of a sudden, you got a child on the way. Easiest thing to create. Now, it's another thing to raise them, but they're the easiest thing to create, family. And you're going to have a little fun while doing it. I'm going to just keep it real with you. Children are the easiest thing to create. And we think that that's how we leave our legacy. No. Anybody can do that. Anybody can go create a kid. The second way to leave your legacy. So the first is baby bodies. The second is your body of work. Your body of work. This is my body of work. This is part of my body of work. You know that I have several books, okay? But this is probably the one that's going to last centuries, okay? Your bodies of work, okay? What did you create from your mind? What thoughts did you turn into things? A product, a service, a book, a course? What did you create? Okay? The third way to leave your legacy, the next hardest way, is institutional bodies. I intend to leave behind the multifamily movement, and I intend for that movement to last beyond me. Even though I initiated it and I created it, I intend for it to last beyond me. So we have baby bodies, which is the easiest. Then we have bodies of work. Okay, you wrote a book. That's great. And that's more than most people do. But then there's institutional bodies. And then the highest one is your body in service to others. This is what the demonstration of Jesus was. It was a demonstration of giving your body in service to others. Even if you gave your body in service to others, even if you didn't have any children, even if you didn't have a long resume or body of work, even if you didn't create an institutional body, guess what? When you give your body in service to others, they remember you in their heart. They remember the way you made them feel. And that feeling will never go away. That feeling will never go away. That feeling reverberates throughout the universe. The ripple just keeps on going because of how you made somebody feel by giving your body in service to them. You didn't need to have kids. You didn't need to write a book. You didn't need to create some company or some nonprofit. It's how you made people feel, and they remember you for that. That is the hardest way to leave your legacy. So, for the mothers and fathers out there, I want you to pour into your kids, but I want you to be a demonstration for them first. You pour into your dream before you pour into theirs. I know y'all don't want to hear that. You pour into your dream before you pour into theirs. If you can do both simultaneously, yes. But our default is to pour into their dreams while forgetting ours. Well, I'm going to go sacrifice for you over here and do things that I hate so that then you can have your dream. You know how much pressure that puts on a child? You're sacrificing everything that you love so that I can have my dream. That puts all kinds of unnecessary pressure on the child because they see you giving up everything for them. How about you pour into your dream first and show them and lead by example? And then what they'll naturally do is they'll say, my mom, my dad is pursuing their dream. I'm going to pursue mine. This is how we change it. Rather than each generation kicking the can. I'm going to give up on my dream so that you can have yours. Then the next generation says, okay, I'm going to give up on my dream so you can have yours. And everybody just playing it safe. Nobody actually ends up pursuing their dream. Shout out to all my parents out there. If, in fact, children are one of the easiest creations to manifest that can happen in 5 minutes if you're not careful. All right. Musk is creating what I call solutions to big problems. Tesla is seeking to revolutionize the auto industry and move us off of fossil fuels. Solar City is seeking to help us generate more renewable energy by harnessing the power of the sun. And SpaceX is helping with space travel to get the heaven out of here if the first two don't work. Your wealth will be directly proportional to the size of the problems you solve. Your wealth will be directly proportional to the size of the problems you solve, family. If you only flip burgers at McDonald's, then guess what? You won't be that wealthy. But Elon Musk is solving 3 of the world's biggest problems, okay? Electric cars and solar panels solve 2 of the world's biggest problems. This is why he's wealthy. So remember what I said before, instead of thinking about what's my passion, think about what problem am I passionate about solving? What problem am I passionate about solving? That will change the way you look at the world. You will look for a problem that you can possibly solve, and your wealth will be directly proportional to that. The reason Bill Gates has a lot of money because he solved a huge problem by putting the computer in front of us. Steve Jobs, same thing, solved a huge problem. This is why they were wealthy, not because they were white men. It's not because they were white men, family. Steve Jobs was adopted. Where's the privilege in that? It's because they dedicated their lives to solving huge problems. So if you want to be wealthy, guess what? Go find a bigger problem to solve than the one you're solving right now. Period. I don't keep a lot of cash. I have an emergency fund that covers 6 months of living expenses in an account at a small bank in another state that I can't easily access. And then I keep 2 months worth of cash in my checking account that is revolving. It's only enough to cover monthly expenses like cell phone, grocery, car note, etc. I don't have a housing expense because the rents from all of my multifamily homes cover my principal, interest, taxes, insurance, capital expenditures, repair reserve, and vacancy rate. Everything goes to a sacred stash, okay? A temporary savings account. I'm only holding it in a temporary account until I find the right opportunity to invest in, such as my own company's assets, real estate, other entrepreneurial ventures, and sometimes stocks. I'll show you how to set this up as a part of the cash flow framework in Money Commandment number 6. So once we get to Money Commandment number 6, I'll show you how to set that up. Last paragraph on page 65, and then we have one more page and we're done. The more money you are blessed with doesn't necessarily make wealth building easier from a personal internal rate of return standpoint. You think that having a lot of money makes it easier. No, it becomes harder. I'm going to explain to you why. Working class people have a not enough money challenge. Working class people have a not enough money challenge. Middle class people have a not enough income streams challenge. And rich people have a not enough good investments challenge. I don't care where you are in the class system. Every level has challenges associated with it. So I'm going to repeat that. Working class people have a not enough money challenge. Middle class people have a not enough income streams challenge. And rich people have a not enough good investments challenge. So if I had $194 billion right now in cash, I can't identify enough investments to put that in. So that money is sitting there getting hit by inflation every single day simply because I can't find enough deals out there to deploy that money towards. That's a wealthy challenge. Now, is that a good problem to have? Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but it's still a challenge because sitting on cash actually erodes the soul because you know that cash is supposed to be moving. Okay? Money is magnetic. It attracts more money. The wealthier you are, the better the deals are that come to you. But do you have enough good deals to deploy the money into so that it's not sitting? Listen to me. Listen to this, y'all. Is it easier to turn $100 into $140 in a year than it is to turn $1 million into $1.4 million in a year? Though the growth rate is still 40%. What's easier, to turn $100 into $140 or $1 million into $1.4 in 1 year? What's easier, family? Because a lot of you think that you having a lot of money is going to make life easier. There are aspects of life that will become easier. You won't have to worry about the necessities, but actually deploying money in excess actually becomes a new challenge. And it's a fun challenge. I'm enjoying that challenge. But it is harder to turn $1 million into 1.4 than it is to turn $100 into 140. Okay. Last page. We're on page 66. The wealthier person has to employ 10,000 Benjamin Franklins or $100 bills productively, whereas the person with $100 only has to employ one. The wealthier person has to employ 10,000 Benjamin Franklins productively, whereas the person with only $100 has to only employ one. Luke 12:48 says, "For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much be required, and to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask more." Being rich comes with more freedom, but it also comes with more responsibility. Finding a vision big enough or enough good investments to invest in becomes a new challenge. Nonetheless, it is a good problem to have. We are meant to be fruitful and multiply money. When you start to understand that money is just stored energy, that it is useless unless you use it, and that you are meant to resurrect dead presidents and give cash consciousness, things will start to shift. You are increasing both your financial frequency and financial literacy by reading this book and applying these principles. Because of that, I know your personal internal rate of return will increase accordingly. I encourage you to pick an asset class that you want to master and make that your primary way of multiplying money. And then find 2 or 3 other asset classes to invest in to diversify your portfolio. You don't always have to be the CEO or build an asset from scratch. Right now, my primary asset class is my business, and then my secondary asset classes include multifamily real estate, and finally, stocks and equity stakes in startup companies. The goal is to have all of your financial instruments in money. You want all of your financial instruments to be in harmony. In commandment number 7, I'll show you the 6 ways to acquire more cash flowing assets. All right. So that concludes our reading for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to go back to this scripture really quickly. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. When you think about that, I was like, why would God make the rich people richer? And why would God make the poor people poorer? That makes no sense. That makes no sense, right? And what I realized is that what it really is saying from a metaphysical standpoint, those who have an abundance mindset will have more given unto them. And those who have a scarcity mindset will always have what they have taken away from them. It is not he who has materially that will have more. It is he who has mentally, who has an abundance mindset, more will be given unto them. And to everyone who has a scarcity mindset, what he has will be taken away. That's what scarcity does. So that concludes our reading for today. We will be come back on Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will go into how to achieve financial freedom. That is our next reading. That is, we're gonna have to break that one up into 2. I'll put out the schedule on my Instagram. For next week on Sunday, or I'll put it out on Sunday. For those of you who don't have the book, you can go get it at moneyandmanifestation.com. Again, that's moneyandmanifestation.com. When you buy the book, you get 5 copies. 1 is for you, the other 4 for you to give away. Right? The way to stimulate your personal economy is to actually be in a state of giving. So that's what the books are there for. So you buying the book is an act of abundance because 1, it's showing that you have, and then it immediately puts you in a state of giving. Right? Give and you shall receive. So you need something to give. And so that is the whole reason. People say, Jullien, can I just buy 1 book? No, because when you're buying 1 book, you're buying it for you. And you only serving you hasn't got you that far. The secret to success, family, is service. The secret to success is service. So you have to get in the habit of serving other people. Other people have the money that you want. You just have to serve more people. So later on, we're going to get into your blessing model, which is how you give, and your business model, which is how you receive. When we combine those 2 things together, the wheel just keeps turning, and you will see money flowing to you easily, frequently, and abundantly. All right. But all of this that we're doing now is mental pre-work. We are tilling the subconscious mind to prepare you to be able to even receive. Because a lot of you are great givers, but you are not great at receiving. And receiving is a skill set. It is the muscle that you have to develop so that you can give more. The righteous, we do not receive just to hoard and put it in our bank account. We receive so that we can give more. That is what we do. That's what makes us different. We're not receiving just for our own sake. We receive so that we can be a greater blessing to other people. I don't care how much money is in my bank account when I transition from this planet. What I care is how much money I put in circulation, how much good energy I put in circulation. Okay? And we release money, and then we say, in God I trust, and it comes back to me. When I release money, I say, in God I trust, and I watch it come back to me. That is what your personal internal rate of return is. How frequently and how fast the money that you release comes back to you. In the Black community in particular, when we release money, it is gone forever. So our personal internal rate of return and our collective internal rate of return is very low. But we have to get into this space of actually measuring our wealth by our personal internal rate of return. When I release this $100 bill, when I release this $10,000 into this investment, how fast does that come back to me so that I can circulate it again and again and again and again and again? All right. So again, that is moneyandmanifestation.com, moneyandmanifestation.com. I think we reached 350 people today. So as you can see, this reading of Rich and Righteous, this movement is growing. All I did was be obedient to spirit. It nudged me 3 weeks ago, said, go read your book out loud. And here we are. And this has been a beautiful experience for me. It's blessing me as much as I hope it's blessing you. And I will see you next Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go set a phone alarm. Once we get off this live, set a phone alarm for 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, and go to moneyandmanifestation.com to get your copies of the book. All right. When you buy the book, you also get the rituals workbook, which are the exercises to actually deepen your understanding. And you also get the audiobook for those of you who are audiobook folk. All right. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Much love. See you on Monday. Peace.